Morning, it's the second week of February. It's a bit drizzly here, the weather's better than it has been, mind. We've left Jerry behind the camera this weekend because it's time to start to actually do some planting. So we're going to get into the greenhouse and start planting some seeds. So the weather's still a bit too cold to get into real planting, but we've got this greenhouse that Jerry scavenged for free, from Free Cycle. But there are still things we can do. The temperature's dropping to about 3 degrees at night, so there's not too much we can put in. However, we can put some sprouts in, some celery, some cabbages and some tomatoes and onions. Now we're going to trial these. It might still be too cold, however we've got plenty of seeds here. We're going to put them in, see what happens. If they fail, we'll plant them again in a couple of weeks' time. So I've left Jerry standing out in the rain while I'm in here quite comfortably in the greenhouse. I've got everything ready, so I've got my compost. I'm using a multi-purpose peat-free compost. I put some here ready to use. I've got my seeds, my trays and my modules, which I'll be using with different seeds. All we do with the compost is we've taken some of it out and we just need to fluff it up a bit. It tends to get compacted into in the bag when they pack it up, but if we just fluff it out a bit, that's perfect to start using. We're going to be using trays for some of the produce we're planting today, and we're also going to be using open modules. The differences between the two is that trays will get a lot more seeds into each tray, but they're only suitable for plants that are easy to split up afterwards. So we'll be planting our leeks and our onions in the open trays. The modules we'll use for everything else, because it's easy once they're growing just to pop them out and stick them in the ground. So what we do with these trays is we fill them with compost and then we start planting the seeds. So we're going to start off with the onions. Leeks get planted in exactly the same way, so I'll just show you how to do these. We've got a packet of seeds. A couple of things to watch out for on the packet. First of all are the planting dates. There's always a good guide on there as to when to plant and when. And the sell-by date. It doesn't matter with onions, but it does matter with some other products such as carrots and parsnips. If they pass the use-by date, throw them away and start again, because they simply won't grow. With this packet of seeds, first thing to do, let's just flick it down. The seeds tend to get caught up at the top. It's always worth using a pair of scissors to open them. You'll regret not. If you tear this off, you'll lose all that good information at the back if you're saving seeds for next year. So we'll just simply cut that off at the top. Cut it even further. And inside I've a little packet of seeds. Again, just flick it down. You never know whether the seeds are loose in the big packet or whether these packets are inside. So again, we can simply cut that off neatly and the seeds are ready for planting. So to plant the onions, all we do, you'll notice I've washed my hands. If my hands are wet and muddy, the seeds will rot if I put any back in the packet. And we literally just sprinkle thinly over the top of the tray, top of the compost. And we don't need too many, but we can sow them quite thickly because we'll be able to separate these quite easily afterwards. Once we've done that, grab a handful of compost and literally just spread some compost over the top, and that's it, done. The one thing left to do on this is to label it and water it. I'm going to be using a modular tray to plant the tomatoes. The other added benefit of using a modular tray is I can get multiple varieties into the same tray. I've got 5 different tomato varieties, and luckily for me the tray has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, and I can get 8 plants in each tray. The first variety of tomatoes I'm going to plant is something called Gardener's Delight. This is a classic variety that every allotment gardener or every greenhouse keeper will have grown at some stage. All we've got to do is put a couple of seeds, 2 or 3 seeds, in each of the modules. Too many there, spread those out. And then again, just cover them with compost, literally. Push them in a little bit. Bit more compost. And we're done. And we'll be doing the same with the other varieties and the other rows. That's it, tomatoes planted, they're all labelled. All we have to do is water them and keep an eye on them. We've shown you how to plant in open trays and we've shown you how to plant in modules. We're now going to crack on and do the rest of the seeds. So the celery, the sprouts and the cabbages will all go into modules, and the leeks and the onions will all go into open trays. So that's it, we're nearly done. All the seeds are sown in various trays. We've actually sown a few additional seeds as well All that's left to do is to water them. I can hear the kettle boiling and Jerry shouting, look, the coffee's ready. That's all that's needed, is a light watering. We'll keep an eye on those and water every couple of days, and we'll see you next week.